I have a question about healing. I've just spent a month...
Get happy.
Sorry?
Get happy.
Okay. I've just spent a month in Abadiânia, Brazil, where the healer John of God works. And I've experienced many wondrous things.
Yeah.
And I've observed how healing happens or doesn't happen. And I've a few questions about that. Because healing happens sometimes in miraculous ways, instantaneous and dramatic, like people getting up from wheelchairs. And mostly it happens over a longer period of time, slowlier and more gradual. Sometimes it happens on a physical level, sometimes on different levels. And I was wondering, what are the factors that influence healing? And from what I observed...
There are two factors. One is the intensity of the desire, the precision of the desire, the momentum of the desire. And the other is the proximity of the belief or expectation in relationship with the desire. And that's it. Those are the factors, and there are infinite variables about that.
Okay.
So if there's a really, 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 really strong desire and a powerful expectation, then that's that instantaneous. That's that being right there, ready for it. If there is a sort of desire, because there's, after all, nothing really very much going on, and a sort of belief, then it's a sort of dribbling in, things perhaps gradually, really gradually improving. If there is a strong, strong desire and a strong, strong doubt, there is a tension about it that makes the whole thing rather uncomfortable and parlays the desire into stronger and stronger places. And under those conditions, usually, there is something dramatic and sudden that happens, or there is a transition into non-physical that happens, because that's the path of least resistance for that situation.
So it's helpful because my aunt, for example, she discovered in January that she has cancer, so bad that she wanted to die. And so I told her I could take a photo with me, and we showed it to the entity coming through John of God. And she basically is healing. So that would be the strong desire, and she has probably not a lot of resistance to it because it was something that she hasn't had for a long period of time?
Yeah.
Okay.
Not too much thought about it.
Whereas me, I went, among other things, for my hearing, and I've had that for 15 years, and it's interesting because actually I have had a strong desire to heal that for 15 years. So in my vortex, actually, there should be a strong desire, but it was not so active when I went there.
We want to take the subject of healing into a more general place of the subject of coming into alignment with my desire, the subject of coming into alignment with my furthest expansion. Because when you put it into that context, then you are able to focus upon it with less resistance. The thing about even the concept, and especially the word healing, is that the emphasis, the attention is upon what you are wanting to overcome. And when your attention is upon what you're wanting to overcome, which is logical, we get it, because if you've been living with it, it is something that you want to overcome. So there are a lot of people who have learned to acclimate to the deficiencies of their being. And by deficiencies, we mean physical deficiencies. We mean the deficiency of confusion rather than clarity. We mean the deficiency of easy anger rather than easy love. We mean the deficiency of not enough money rather than prosperity. By deficiency, we're not meaning that in any sort of a judgmental or comparative way. We mean not allowing something that is wanted. And so the way to allow what you are wanting is not to focus upon the deficiency and try to go after it in any strong way. So when you are in the presence of someone who is known to be a healer, where there is stronger expectation, there is stronger current and expectation, that's the benefit of that. There is more attention upon allowing than you realize. The best example of healing, we offered it yesterday, is Jesus saying, "Go forth and tell no one," because the attention to it slows it down.
So would you say if a healing someone wants doesn't happen, it's always because there is resistance at some level?
We would say it is a difficult thing for anyone other than the person who is having the experience to understand where they stand in that decision process.
And the belief I hold about why...
In other words, can you feel what it feels like? So contrast causes you to launch a desire, and contrast causes you to launch a desire, and launch a desire, and launch a desire. Is it logical at all that your desire would eventually be the dominant vibration within you, and that the path of least resistance would then be making that transition into a non-resistant state? This conversation is unsettling to so many. You're afraid to get too happy for fear you'll croak. But it's not like that. We want you to first satisfy your own questions about this relative to yourself and yourself only, because it is only you who really can feel what the emotion is within you when you are focusing upon things. If you are experiencing something uncomfortable and you're thinking about the sweet relief of reemergence, and it feels like sweet relief, then there's no resistance within you. There are many people who really want to make their transition and don't because of their fear of death. It's hard for you to unravel this for anyone else. And when you try, it just causes confusion within you. Because you have, even Esther, she had such a different intention relative to Jerry than Jerry did. She had no idea. She had no idea what his true vibration was until the manifestation of it occurred. And then she was really mad at him for a long time, that he had not vibrationally concurred with her about it, you see. So if there is ever a subject that we wish for you to mind your own business, it is this subject. It is this subject, because only you can know what your desire is. And even in that, and this is the nature of your questions, you see, this is what we've been talking about in all the hours that we've been together. Do you really want the conditions of your life to lead you? Do you want something to happen, and then do you want to have a knee-jerk response to what happened? Or do you want to disregard the conditions just for a little while and establish a vibrational pattern apart from the conditions and discover what unconditional living really is? And there is no one who understands that better than someone who has a condition that's really pressing and present around them, you see. So it's your opportunity to really discover what it's like. Oh, there is such freedom in not being a responder to conditions, to not be a reactor to creation, but a creator that causes reaction.
And then it happens, maybe.
Again and again and again and again and again. A steady, as you said, it depends upon what's going on vibrationally. Really doesn't matter. Really doesn't matter. What's the rush? Hold steady and have fun figuring this out.
Okay. And can it be that someone does not heal on a level because of karma?
Never.
Never? It's only about this life?
What do you mean by karma? Let's establish
that's the
that, because it
question.
means a lot of different things to a lot of different people.
It can be paying off some debts of a
Never.
past life.
Never, 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 never.
Okay.
Because when you reemerge into non-physical, your debts are wiped clear. You made them up. You are the one that made them up and threw them on your trail. And when you reemerge into non-physical, that trail, it's a path of no resistance. So there's never any, I'll go back and clean that one up. But you make the weirdest stuff up, you know? You make it up. And the reason you make it up is because you're standing where you don't want to be. You innately know that you wouldn't do this to yourself, even though you did it to yourself, but you did it to yourself at an unconscious level because you're offering vibrations that are causing you to feel emotions, but you're disregarding the emotions because everybody around you's got some of those. So you make stuff up because you want to explain why you're here. Oh, that's really worth talking about. If you would spend less time trying to justify where you stand and more time being eager about the non-resisted path that is laid out before you. When someone says to you, why did you do that? A really good answer is, I have no idea. And if they press you, why did you do that? How do you think you got to where you are? Say, a perfect unfolding path is happening for me at all times. And if they challenge you upon the perfection of your path from their point of view, you must say to them, and mean it, only I can see my path. You can see yours. Only I can see my path. I'm the only one who created it. I'm the only one who can see it. I'm the only one that can put stuff on it to trip over. And I'm the creator of my own reality. And if they say something like, well, you are creating an odd reality, say to them, only I can see the reality that I'm creating. Your perception is skewed. And if they persist, then say, go away and leave me alone. In time, as you are no longer calling them to you by your justification of where you are, that's the only reason that they're anyway. You put them on your path. You put them on your path, and now you're annoyed by them. And what you want to say is, thank you, annoying co-creator, for helping me to clarify what I'm putting on my path. Enjoy this conversation while you're here, because I am not putting you on my path much longer. I'm working the bugs out of putting you on my path.
So I observed that surrender and faith are important components of healing happening.
Surrendering to your path of least resistance means letting go of any justification about where you are along the path. Surrendering is the ultimate allowing the blending of you here now in this moment and your desire. So surrendering really is letting go of the thought that is introducing the resistance, that is keeping you from moving in the direction. You see, you don't have to have accomplished anything in order to have the ease of surrender happening within you, because you're never going to get it done. So it's always movement in the direction of who you are. It's never getting there. You're not ever going to get there. You're not ever going to get there. None of us are ever going to get there, because life keeps causing us to be more. That's why we're eternal. If eternalness was not reality, then death could be. But since eternalness is reality, death cannot be. So resistance is just a misunderstanding of who you are. That's why it feels off.
So I was thinking, because many people go there to John of God and are really focused about their condition they want to get rid of, which is, according to you, counterproductive, because they're not aligned to their desire.
But you don't know what they're doing, how they're feeling. You don't know where they are vibrationally. Let that go. Let that go. In other words, that's why there are, for as many people as there are there on any given day, there are differing results, because different people are in different degrees of desire and belief and expectation and knowing. Okay. And so when you try to sort that out, you flaw your own premises.
Which one?
Say again?
Which one? Which flawed premise?
Well, you add confusion to your mix. It's like the statistics of your planet. You'll see statistics about something, and then it's a condition that's big enough that you focus upon it, and then you have an emotional response to it. And we say, first of all, since you are not personally involved in any of that, you're not really privy to the vibrational contents. And unless you are really in on the vibrational content of something, you can't really understand it. That's why deliberate creation is so much fun, because when you are deliberately creating, as you are becoming more and more deliberate creators, so you are deliberately thinking thoughts and deliberately tending to your mood and deliberately creating your climate and deliberately watching universal response to the climate that you've created, then you get why it happens. So you say, I did that, and I understand how I did that. That's how you gain creative control. But when when you look at the manifestational results that others are demonstrating and you come to conclusions about them, you are almost always wrong.
Right.
Because you don't know what was going on along their physical trail. You don't even really know where they are vibrationally. And the majority of them are not saying things that accurately reflect the vibrational nature of their being.
Mm-hmm.
That's why we say the universe does not hear what you say. The universe hears what you mean, you see.
Mm-hmm.
And only you know for sure what you mean. Even those of you who are close to one another, who are spending all day, every day together, you're hearing, you're perceiving the words that another is speaking through the lens of your own vibration. You don't really know anything except your relationship with your vibration. And when you practice it, when you do it on purpose, when you think thoughts and feel how they feel, and then modify the feeling, modify the thought in order to affect the feeling, when your dominant intent is a blending with the whole of who you are, then you stand in this stable place. And the more you do that, the less inclined you are to look for the conditions, the manifestational results of others. Because from your perception, you see through the eyes of Source. You have true compassion for that which they are. You don't freak out about where they are. And you feel less inclined to analyze how they got there, and more inclined to demonstrate through the clarity of your beingness what you have come to know.
Mm-hmm.
And so there are powerful influencers who understand energy, who are able to focus it in strong ways. But the thing is, the most powerful focuser of energy on behalf of others, at best, is one who influences their expectation. Because everyone, no exceptions, has access to this energy stream. There are not some who are not being offered the stream of well-being. There are just those who are more practiced at disallowing it. There are some who get out of sync with the power of their own desire. But nothing ever, ever, ever goes wrong, ever.
How do you influence someone's expectation?
By practicing your own.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Until your expectation is dominant.
Okay.
You just expect something so powerfully that you sort of control the environment. But we wouldn't spend any time trying to do that, because then the power of that influence is a 24/7 job, and that is the job of Source.
So I was thinking that law of attraction and the powerful focus of the entities through John of God would be a perfect combination. What do you think about that? Because I was thinking to accompany people to John of God and preparing them with law of attraction to bring them more in an allowing state.
We think that if we were standing in your physical shoes, we would allow law of attraction to do its work.
Mm-hmm.
It always does. And that's why you see the variables of those who go. Some are in alignment, some are not. We are really not proponents of encouraging that your healing is outside of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Something more?
Yeah, just...
Briefly?
Yeah, briefly. This whole thing is, the background is Spiritism, and so Allan Kardec...
Way too big of a conversation for right now.
Okay.
All is really well.
Okay, thank you.